do the Golden State Warriors have enough to actually extend the series? Conventional wisdom says no. If you look at all the quarters played in the series, the Raptors have, I believe, outscored them 15-20. Kevin Durant, of course, is down. Kevon Looney, of course, is injured, re-injured himself once again. The Raptors role players are playing better than the Golden State Warriors role players. The only advantage that the Golden State Warriors have are essentially the Splash Brothers, since Draymond Green and Andre Iguodala have been putting together a putrid plus minus together, and just they're unable to score. Draymond Green is having trouble with the length. So is Andre Iguodala. So they're relying on Steph and Clay a whole heck of a lot. So objectively, when you look at the series, the Raptors made some mistakes in Game 5, and that cost them the series. That cost them Game 5. But the series, no, because they still have two chances to close out the Warriors. They've won both games in Oracle, which usually used to be a huge home court advantage. And that being said, it's not anymore. So Toronto should be encouraged objectively if you're looking at it. Like, okay, the only reason we lost, Toronto Raptors the Golden State Warriors hit 23s, and we only hit 6 or 8 of our threes, and that was it. So, and we only lost by a point. Now, emotionally, they were bringing down the champagne. They had the celebratory trophies, the hats, everything was there. The people on the elevator saying that we were on the elevator when they were bringing down all this stuff. And they had to bring all that shit back upstairs because the Toronto Raptors lost the game. Emotionally, not objectively, emotionally, as much as you want to think the Golden State Warriors are shot because Kevin Durant went down against Houston and they rebounded. Kevin Durant went down in this series again and they rebounded. Emotionally, while Kawhi Leonard is stoic, I don't believe Kyle Lowry, Serge Ibaka, Marc Gasol, I don't think Nick Nurse, I don't think he's as stoic as Kawhi Leonard. And a lot of people like to point out the fact that, hey, you're only as good as your leader. Kawhi Leonard, he's one of the leaders on the team, but Nick Nurse is also a leader on the team. And Nick Nurse was the leader who called a timeout, which stopped that 12-0 run that Kawhi had unleashed against the Golden State Warriors. So emotionally, I'm not so certain that the Toronto Raptors are quite ready to close out the Warriors after watching Game 5. Now, and here's the kicker. Warriors didn't even play their best brand of basketball due to the fact, of course, Kevin Durant went down, but they were loosey-goosey. They had multiple turnovers, multiple calls that went against them. It seems like the whole night the referees were trying to give them the game, give the Toronto Raptors the game, and they didn't seize it. If you have the tables are turned and the Warriors have the same kind of chances, please believe they will seize the opportunity. So as much as objectively you want to watch it and say, hey, this is going to be a cakewalk for the Toronto Raptors, basketball is not played on paper. It's played in between the lines physically, and while the Toronto Raptors have more bodies, they seem to have the best player in the series, but one could argue Steph Curry is like the second best player in the series. What you're seeing here is Golden State Warriors won Game 5 off emotion. Game 6, they're going to the Oracle. Emotional game. Raptors are upset that they didn't close out the series. Who can navigate their emotions through the in between the lines is going to win Game 6. And when you look at high leverage moments, emotional moments, Golden State Warriors have experienced them all, while the Toronto Raptors have not. That being said, that gives the Golden State Warriors a spark of life to actually win Game 6 and extend the series. So objectively, they shouldn't extend the series. Objectively speaking, everything is Toronto's favor. Emotionally speaking, however, KD went down. Let's do this for KD. Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, what's going to happen next year? What's going to happen to the team? Draymond Green hasn't been playing necessarily 100% well. You're considering yourself a dynasty. How do you guys respond? And the Warriors have only showed themselves to respond in high leverage moments. Now, the Toronto Raptors, while they still have the edge, they haven't shown themselves to respond. Up until recently, they haven't had that reputation of responding to those high leverage moments. So that's gonna be key for the series. While objectively, I can say I see the Toronto Raptors closing out the Warriors and Oracle. Emotionally, I don't think I'm ready to concede that point, due to the simple fact that if the Toronto Raptors fail to close out Game 5, and I said Game 6 is not something they want to deal with. If they fail to close out Game 6 and let the emotion of Oracle get to them in Game 6, it's not going to be Kawhi. It's going to be somebody like a Lowry who fouls out. It's going to be somebody like a Siakam who's not scoring as many points as he's accustomed to scoring. Something weird like that's going to happen. And emotionally, that's going to put them in a bind. And that's going to force a Game 7, which Toronto Raptors, like I said in the prior videos, if this game goes to a Game 7 in Toronto, they're not winning that game. They're not winning that game. Hoops Junction. Hoops meets Hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.